Hello again, and my name is Khalid Taimur Akram, and I'm your host for the program Eurasian Perspectives. Today, we have the honor of having with us His Excellency Aybek Arif Usmanov, who's the Uzbekistan's ambassador to Pakistan. Sir, welcome to our show. Welcome to the first English language radio channel of Pakistan. Uh, Sir, since you are representing Uzbekistan and Pakistan are very close friends, and we have seen that in last couple of years, Pakistan and Uzbekistan have gone more closer to each other because of the connectivity initiatives. So let's start from Uzbekistan. Kindly tell us what is the historical significance of Uzbekistan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and Ramadan Kareem. Thank you very much, Ikram Saab, for giving me the floor today. Actually, when you've been speaking, you did not miss, and it was not a mistake that you said I'm representing Pakistan. That is really true, because I'm the one of the luckiest ambassadors, diplomats, and just a person and a human being who is posted third time in your great country. So that's why I do feel myself, as always I feel myself like I'm at my home, alhamdulillah. So, and then of course, when we're speaking about Uzbekistan and Pakistan, we must explain to our listeners that for sure our countries are having centuries, thousand years of common history, common fate, and common traditions, and common science and technologies, and connectivity history. So Uzbekistan is one of the largest by population-wise country in the Central Asia, and I do know that cities like Samarkand and Bukhara and Khiva and Tashkent and Farghana.
As we know that Uzbekistan and Pakistan are very close to each other, we have lot of historical linkages with each other. What would you like to tell us about the friendship between Pakistan and Uzbekistan?
As soon as the Uzbekistan became independent state, Pakistan was one of the first countries who did recognize the independence of Uzbekistan. And I do remember in 1992, as soon as your embassy has been opened, actually reopened in Tashkent city, the PIA flight brought the first batch of scientists, diplomats, journalists, businessmen who has landed to Uzbekistan, and for them it was just like reconnecting and re-exploring of our great historical ties, and because to visit Tashkent and to pay ziyarat, to see to pay ziyarat to our Quran Hazrat Umar, or to go to Samarkand and to pay ziyarat to Imam al-Bukhari rahmatullah mausoleum, or to go to, for example, to Bukhara and to pay ziyarat to Bahauddin Naqshbandiya, and to go to Tirmiz, the border city with Afghanistan, and to pay ziyarat to Imam al-Tirmizi rahmatullah. This is like a cars and fars for every Pakistani and every Muslim of the world. So that was, as I told you, that it was historical, it was in religious, alhamdulillah, and that was in social and economic and humanitarian reconnectivity that are uniting our countries.
Sir, you have talked about historical places in Uzbekistan. As we know that there's lots of tourist attraction in Uzbekistan. So, as we know that Uzbekistan has Samarkand and Bukhara, which were the centers of the education and historical linkages. So, what can you tell us about the tourism in Uzbekistan?
Alhamdulillah, that as a country who are having such a unique historical and scientific sightseeings. Of course, Uzbekistan is the real Muslim Asia, and it is one of the places for the genuine destination for the many tourists of the world. and especially from the Muslim countries. And Pakistan is one of that countries who are visiting most. And of course, the other countries of the South Asia, like India, like Bangladesh, like Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Bhutan, Nepal, they are also coming to Uzbekistan because we are having such an historical civilization between Amudarya and Sirdarya rivers, which we know as Saihun and Jaihun. And of course, for the second big number of the tourists are coming from the neighboring Gulf countries, starting from Iran, Turkey, and then Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Emirates, and Kuwait, and other countries. For them, Uzbekistan is also they call it historically as Maurul Nahar, the country which is after the big river like Amudarya. So, as soon as the Uzbekistan and other Central Asian Republic, they embraced Islam, alhamdulillah, in the 8th century. From that point of view, Bukhara also became as a nickname for the connectivity of not only Uzbekistan but all Central Asia with the Muslim countries, as the Bukhara is also very well known in the Arab world and the Muslim Ummah as the city of the knowledge, as the city of the trade and connectivity, as the city of the great scholars and Islamic knowledges and scientific endeavors. And of course, as soon as such cities like Bukhara, Samarkand, or Khiva, who are also well known not just in the Muslim countries but also in many Eurasian countries as the cities of the who've been connected and reconnected with the Eurasian continent during the Amir Taimur period and Mirza Zahruddin Babur's period, and of course the many European countries, and then Far East Asian countries. They are also always visiting Uzbekistan. Just give you some figures that before the COVID, the number of the tourists visiting to Uzbekistan already exceeded of the 7 million people, and this number we hope that will be growing in the next years after the post-COVID and after post-pandemic era.
Sir, while talking about Samarkand and Bukhara, the first thing which comes to our mind is the education, because they were the people over there were very well educated. We have seen big scholars like Bu Ali Sina, Khwazmir, and other people over there. Now, as I know that there are a lot of Pakistani students going to Uzbekistan for education. So, what kind of universities and education services Uzbekistan universities are offering, and which studies Pakistani students can select in Uzbekistan?
Yes, you are right that during that independence period, Uzbekistan also became well known as the one of the republics and the countries who are having a very solid scientific fundamental and cross science knowledges, as such specialties like medicine, like IT technologies, and foreign languages. I'm graduating Tashkent State University, who was established in 1922. It means that it was almost more than 100 years, a century years back. Our Tashkent State University has always been attracting the foreign students from all over the world to learn the physics, the mathematics, the history and languages of these neighboring and Asia Pacific countries. So right now, for Pakistan in particular, the matter of great interest is, of course, medicine, and almost 6 institutions in Uzbekistan in such cities like Tashkent, Samarkand, Namangan, Farghana, and Dijan are hosting more than 1,500 Pakistani students who are mostly, as I said, there in the medical institutions. And of course, always my government, and it was always in my government is trying to encourage as much as possible the students from Pakistan to visit Uzbekistan and to learn not just the medicine, but all other specialties like physics, mathematics, like sciences and history and literature. And of course, you might be very satisfied to know that we in Uzbekistan we have Urdu speaking school, and then we have Urdu department in Tashkent State University, which I already mentioned.
Yes.
And in this Urdu department, the students are learning Urdu language and literature. So that's why it's not coincidence, it's not surprise for you that we have the streets named by Allama Iqbal, that we have streets named by Mirza Ghalib. These kind of historical bonds uniting us is always be encouraged by the two governments.
Sir, as we know that His Excellency President Shaukat Mirziyoyev, he's also a great friend of Pakistan, and last year in March he visited Pakistan also, and our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has also visited Uzbekistan for the SCO summit, and the two leaders have been meeting at various other places. And how do you define the image of the vision of President Shaukat Mirziyoyev for the regional connectivity, and especially with Pakistan?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, that you already mentioned that dynamic interaction between my leader, President Shaukat Mirziyoyev, and the all leadership of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. He met not just with the Prime Minister, but he also met with the President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi. So a part of that high-level bilateral visits which you mentioned, that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif Saab visited Samarkand in SCO summit, and of course historical visit was that in 2022 in March, when my President Shaukat Mirziyoyev first time visited brotherly Pakistan. A part of that important bilateral meetings which you already mentioned, my leader and the leaders and the President and the Prime Minister of Islamic Republic of Pakistan always using any occasion to meet on the sidelines of the different international forums or conferences, as far as it concerned to the Shanghai Organization or Organization of Islamic Cooperation, or economic cooperation conferences, or it would be United Nations platform. Always our leaders are trying to meet each other because we have very broad and unique agenda of the cooperation between our two countries. Of course, the first and foremost is that it's reconnecting our historical ties in the humanitarian aspect, and also a very important point of our interaction is always trade and economic and investment. That of course embraces not just only trade, I mean transit or preferential trade, but it also embraces the industrial cooperation. It embraces all kind of joint ventures which would be win-win solution for the two countries. And of course there is one already you mentioned about very important connectivity and infrastructure project which is uniting us through Afghanistan. This is the railway of the from Termez, border city of Termez, to the city of Peshawar of Pakistan, which is crossing by the historical and brotherly land of Afghanistan, which is between our two countries. And that first time, I'm proud to say that my president has initiated this project already 2 years back, and luckily, alhamdulillah, the Pakistan was the delegation, high-level delegation of Prime Minister of Pakistan was one of the 55 countries who were attended in 2021 in June the international very respectful conference on the connectivity between Central Asia and South Asia. So the agenda which we are bringing to Islamic Republic of Pakistan, and alhamdulillah we have a full support of that. This is agenda of the connectivity on the political, trade, economical, and of course in the cultural and the humanitarian aspects.
Thank you very much, sir. Since this show is being listened by young generation also, and they are mostly interested to know about Uzbekistan's music, about Uzbekistan's cinema, as we know that that Uzbek language and Urdu has many words in common. So, how do you define the arts and culture, and especially music of Uzbekistan?
Okay, first of all, let me tell you that we have two dictionaries of Urdu and Uzbek languages, common words which they are having in these two languages. And Ustaz Tash Mirza, Al Mirzaev, and Ustaz Zaruddin, they've been the first ones who has presented to Pakistan and Uzbekistan the dictionary of common words. And in these dictionaries, we are witnessing more than 40,000 common words which are can be usefully understandable for Uzbeks, any Uzbek and any Pakistanis when they do speak between each other. And of course, the Uzbekistan is trying to introduce and to re-image that its own culture and music and history. And every year in Uzbekistan we are having an international music festivals, and Samarkand and Tashkent festivals in these two cities, one by one every each year. And of course exclusion only was during this pandemic COVID situation, but the Samarkand and the Tashkent are always hosting musical festivals where the all foreign countries and all foreigners, and mostly of course the young musicians, and not just only music but also the TV drama and documentaries and TV films can be also displayed in such a festivals, which showing that how Uzbek music is close to the neighboring countries, like not only in the Central Asian countries like Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan or Tajikistan, but it is also very close to the such countries like Iran, to the such countries like Afghanistan and the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. And if you take, of course, the classic songs which are very well known, like Maqam and Rubai, and this kind of cultural heritage is very well known, not only just for the South Asian and Central Asian countries, but in all Muslim Asia and also in the Eurasian continent.
Thank you very much, sir. And now we'll just take a short break, and in this break, we will play Uzbek language song so that our listeners they come to know about not only about the Uzbek language, but they should enjoy the Uzbek music, and
Jazakallah.
they would also find so many words in common
Common.
between the Uzbek language and between them. So we will just take a break and we'll come back after the song. We are back again, and we have our honorable guest, His Excellency Aybek Arif Usmanov, who is the ambassador of Republic of Uzbekistan to Pakistan. Sir, we have just heard, the listeners have just heard a very beautiful Uzbek song. I could figure out from the words that the singer was talking about the beauty of Uzbekistan. Who was the singer and what were the lyrics?
Okay, the song name is John Uzbekistan, which definitely is very understandable to every Urdu listener, like John Pakistan, John Uzbekistan. They sing about that beauty of how ziba, how dilkash, and how hubsurat watan we have in Uzbekistan, and the centuries and years old, many centuries years old country who has been revived again as being independent country, and that is going with the elders and the youngsters together. We are going with the very bringing our economy and strengthening our ties with the foreign countries and the foreign brothers and all neighboring countries to make a common future, and to make it our life to be as prosperous, not just in Uzbekistan but in all neighboring countries. And important thing is to mention that the singer which you asked is himself is our very famous singer and musician of Republic of Uzbekistan, who has been decorated as the name of the people singer.
Okay.
And he is now for the last 3 years as the Minister of Culture and Minister of Culture and Tourism, to be specifically correct name of that ministry. So Mr. Azadbek Nazarbekov,
Okay.
he is the singer of this song, and he himself is now the head of the Ministry of Cultural Heritage of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
So now, sir, coming back to Pakistan-Uzbekistan relationship, we have seen that in last 2 years, the trade volume between Pakistan and Uzbekistan has considerably improved, and a lot of Pakistani businessmen are going to Uzbekistan. So, how do you explain the current trade situation between Pakistan and Uzbekistan?
Thank you very much for your question. Before going to this question, let me just only add something very important. I do believe about our Minister of Culture and Heritage, Azadbek Nazarbekov. He is the counterpart from Uzbek side for the Ministry of Information of Islamic Republic of Pakistan for shooting the film, the historical film between Uzbekistan and Pakistan. Two ministries are entitled by our leaders, by President Shavkat Mirziyoyev and by Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif Saab, to make a film about the heritage and the life and activities and the common heritage of Mirza Zahruddin Babar, the great legacy that binding our countries together. So right now the two ministers, two governments, and cinema agencies of two countries are continuing to shoot this film, which will be consist from 3 episodes. One episode will be dedicated to Ferghana and Andijan, where there was the birthplace of Zahruddin Babar and Samarkand. Then second episode definitely would be in Afghanistan, that will be shooting in Afghanistan. Filming would be in Afghanistan, because a large part of his life Mirza Zahruddin Babur has been spent in neighboring Afghanistan. And then the third, the most important episode would be in about his life and activities in Pakistan, in such cities like in Peshawar and Faisalabad and Kandahar and of course Lahore city,
Yes.
inshallah. So coming to the question about that trade and investment and industrial cooperation between Uzbekistan and Pakistan, let me tell you that our bilateral trade is growing for the last 4 or 5 years with a very rapid temp, because we started in 5 years back between our countries. The trade gap was only 40-45 million, but I'm happy that right now in 2022 the trade between our two countries has reached as the 250 million US dollars, and we are expecting that this year 2023 the trade between Uzbekistan and Pakistan would be increased manifold, and we hopefully will achieve the target of 350, or inshallah, if we are lucky, then if we will not have again something like a COVID situation, we will reach definitely up to 400 of US dollars per year. Why we are so optimistic about this one? Because first of all, our countries in 2 years back have signed the transit trade agreement, and last year when my president visited with historical visit to Islamic Republic of Pakistan, to Islam in Islamabad, our two governments, they have signed the preferential trade agreement, and this year in March 2023 this preferential trade agreement has been entered into force. Yani we started to trade between our two countries on the very exceptional privileged regime of the trade. And one more milestone has been done by our two governments just recently, when the last month the delegation led by the Honorable Finance Minister Ishaq Darsab visited Uzbekistan, and they convened with the Uzbek counterpart, with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment of Uzbekistan. They have signed the 1 billion trade action plan, yani during coming 2-3 years, our governments, they are trying to facilitate and to increase our trade up till 1 billion. And it is, of course, will be possible if our two countries and will be cooperating closely with the neighboring countries, which is uniting us, between us with the government of Afghanistan, and the common logistics projects will be also suggested and proposed to the Afghan side, and hopefully, inshallah, they will be a part of these common projects, which is comprising about facilitating the transit trade between three countries. That would be facilitating the transport companies, and of course our three countries would be jointly making an efforts on the reconstruction and the betterment of the quality of the roads in Afghanistan. It's not a secret that because of that 40 years of that military conflict, unfortunately in this country, that the infrastructure of Afghanistan is not in a good shape. So it's good that we have a common will between our three countries, and the governments of the three countries, three nations, will be uniting their efforts, and with the joint efforts, we may create a new logistics transit points, logistics centers, warehouses, which would be as on the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and the borders of Uzbekistan and Afghanistan, but also we hope that it would be on the main point of the transit crossing inside Afghanistan. So with these projects, and inshallah ta'ala, I do believe that our trade in 2-3 years would be reaching easily, inshallah, up till 1 billion.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. You have explained in a very comprehensive way that how Pakistan, Uzbekistan not only is proceeding in diplomatic relations but also in trade and in other fields. So, since today our main topic is Uzbekistan, we are learning about Uzbekistan through the ambassador of Uzbekistan. And let's hear another Uzbek song because Uzbek language and Urdu language have a lot of words in common. So now let's go back and let's hear one more song, and then we'll come back with the ambassador and we'll know about Uzbekistan. So we have just listened another beautiful song from Uzbekistan, and we have seen that how the singers of Uzbekistan are talking about romance and talking about the beauty of Uzbekistan. So, Ambassador, taking our conversation forward, you have this, as we know that you have been to Pakistan before also, and Pakistan is very close to your heart also. So, how did you find people of Pakistan, and how as I'm not asking you as an ambassador, but as an Uzbek, how do you find the love in Pakistani people for Uzbekistan?
Thank you very much for displaying a very beautiful song of Miss Gul Sanam Muhammad Zaid. By her name, you also do understand that we have a common name like Gul Sanam
Yes.
and Muhammad Zaid, and of course the beauty of this song to hopefully would be very close to the hearts and minds of the young generation of the listeners in Islamic Republic of Pakistan, to introduce them more about culture and traditions of Uzbekistan. And with the same thing, let me say that when I was first time posted in your great country, my tenure started in Karachi city in province Sindh, very historical province of Sindh. And when I could first time learn, and not on just learn by the books and the textbooks, but also to see the Gandhara and Harappa civilization, the richest civilization of the Sindh river, which is very close and unique, but also close to the civilization of Amudarya and Sirdarya river in Uzbekistan. And the interaction between our ulamas, between Khiva, Samarkand, Termez, was always via Mazar Sharif, via Peshawar, via Lahore, with such cities like Multan, Bahawalpur. So, of course, when I do visited first time these cities, historical cities and villages, these shrines, these masjids, which I have noticed there, the architecture was very similar to that architecture that we have seen in the site in Uzbekistan, in Samarkand, in Bukhara and Khiva. And of course, the life and the lifestyle of our two nations are very close to each other, and clothes and traditions of the let's start with the wedding traditions of our two countries, what the young bride and the groom are doing, the father and mothers from those sides are doing. It's actually similar. It's only not because of that religious closeness, but it's also because of the geographical closeness between our two countries. We know very well that caravans from Termez via Afghanistan was first reaching to Dera Ghazi Khan, and then to the Diai Khan, and then it was coming to the Sindh province. And of course, when I was posted in the second time in your great country, I had the opportunity to visit also such historical cities like Peshawar and Lahore and Faisalabad and Sargodha, when I have also have noticed so many similarities between our two nations and two countries. And of course, for every Uzbek coming to Pakistan would be feeling that he is feeling himself like in his home. The traditions of hospitality, the traditions of the cuisine, when we say about tawuk, shish tawuk, when we say about kebab, when we say about samosa, in Uzbek we know them like samsa, shorpa, tawuk, which is the chicken in Uzbek language. So from these cultural and cuisine similarities, you also will understand that the same traditions that I have been raised from my childhood I have seen here in Pakistan. And but the most important and attractive and impressive thing, of course, for every foreigners would be when he will be meeting with the Pakistani people from Sindh, Balochistan, KPK,
Yeah.
or Punjab, how hard working, how freedom loving, how independence loving, and of course future with the very big hopes for the future people. You have amazing people that have been, of course, impressed me a lot as the as I know myself, and I can tell you with proud that I have now more than 100,000 great friends, brothers and sisters in Pakistan, and in every corner of Pakistan where I do travel, I will not feel myself as the foreigners as soon as I have a good friend in Quetta or in Karachi or in Lahore in Punjab or Kuwait or Faisalabad or Sargot or any other Multan and Bahawalpur. When I do know they are the people, I am not coming just a foreigner. I am not feel myself as the guest, but I feel myself as I am at my home. So that's why my great aspirations and affection and my love is also with the people of Pakistan, and I wish all the best and for them in this, especially in the Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. We are very thankful to you that not only the government of Uzbekistan but your embassy also, they have been very close to Pakistan, and whenever we go to Uzbekistan, we always find Uzbek people very hospitable towards Pakistan. As I have been visiting Uzbekistan on a very, very regular basis, so every time I go to Uzbekistan and whenever I come back, I make lots of friends over there. And Uzbekistan for us is like a second home for people from Pakistan, and we are very proud that Pakistan and Uzbekistan have got a friendship which is not only 30 years old, it is centuries old, and even Islam came from the Central Asian from Uzbekistan side towards this part of the world. So we will finish our program over here, and we are very thankful to our honorable guest, His Excellency Aybek Arif Usmanov, who is the ambassador of Uzbekistan to Pakistan. And listeners, today you have come to know about Uzbekistan, and we will have more programs with him. So before we sign off, we will have another song about Uzbekistan so that you know more and more about
Jazakallah.
Uzbekistan.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much, sir. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.